Hey everybody, today we're working on a 2018 Isuzu NPR HD. If you've never watched any of my videos before, I've made this channel to help people save money doing their DIY maintenance and repairs on their Isuzu trucks. Today we're going to show you how to lube your chassis. It's a real easy maintenance procedure and a great maintenance habit to increase the longevity of the parts that require grease. You're going to need a grease gun. And I use high temp grease from O'Reilly's, Napa, your local parts store. If you do this, it will definitely increase the life of these parts. And if you're taking your truck to a shop to have it maintenance regularly, you can go get you a grease gun and a couple tubes of grease, and this should take some money off your bill. They typically can charge anywhere from $10 to $40 to $50 to lube the chassis on a truck like this, and it's super easy to do it yourself. So we're gonna go underneath the vehicle and start at the back and work our way to the front. Let's get started. So we start at the back of the truck here. Here's your rear differential, your first U-joint. This one has 3 U-joints down through the drive shaft. There's grease fittings on every one of them, so you'll be able to see and hear whenever it's got enough grease in it. That's all you do. Move right along to the carrier bearing. Let me back up a second. These U-joints need to be greased every 5,000 miles. So every time the truck goes in for an oil change, or you bring it in for an oil change, you need to be hitting these U-joints with grease. If you over grease them, you're wasting it and you're going to make a mess. It's going to sling it all over the place. But you can see that black grease. What it does is it just pushes the old grease out and the new grease in. So we're going to move on to our carrier bearing. Like I said before, the U-joints get greased every 5,000 miles, and you can see and hear how much grease needs to be in there. Your carrier bearing is a little different. As you can see, this is what it looks like if you over grease a carrier bearing. This thing right here will eat an entire tube, maybe 2 of grease if you just keep giving it to it. The grease fitting obviously spins with the drive shaft. So if it's like this, you may have to pop those 2 bolts out right there to get to your grease fitting. But this grease fitting and the one on the other side here get greased every 10,000 miles. And all you're gonna need to put in there is about 3 pumps of grease on either side. So we've got your first grease fitting at the back of the drive shaft. Your next one is on this U-joint, and they're all going to be in different spots. Your third one on the side of this carrier bearing. Your fourth on the other side of the carrier bearing. And then your last one on your first U-joint right here next to your parking brake and your transmission. Lastly, up front here is your kingpins. There's several testimonies on YouTube and other videos of people who have had seized kingpins. The typical symptoms are extremely rough handling, memory steering, or uneven tire wear. But your 2 grease fittings for your kingpins are, one is right here on the bottom, and your other one is up top. And if you neglect these, you're going to be spending a lot of money to replace them or have someone else replace them. This is your main pivot point for your steering. So whenever you grease these 2, you'll be able to see the grease coming out of the bottom and the top of the kingpin. Just as soon as you see it coming out, that's as much as it needs to get. It's going to also need to be serviced every 5,000 miles hit those with a couple pumps of grease, and those should last a very long time. The final spot that you need to check is your wheel bearings here. And the reason I like doing this is because even if you don't have any play in your tire to tell you that your wheel bearings are going out, you need to make sure this grease is in good shape. So there's two little indentions right here on the hub where you can take a tire tool or pry bar and you just lay it flat in that hub on the back side of this dust cap. You can just pop it out and just check that bearing grease, make sure it doesn't look burnt or runny. Grease your U-joints every 5,000 miles. You'll be able to see in here when it's got enough grease in there. Grease your carrier bearing every 10,000 miles, 2 to 3 pumps of grease in either side. Your kingpins every 5,000 miles, and then check your wheel bearing grease every 5,000 miles too. Is always a very, very good maintenance habit. It'll save you a lot of money. Like I said, 40 to 50 bucks. You can pocket every time by just going out and getting a grease gun and a couple tubes of grease. Those tubes will last you, 25, 30,000 miles. So I hope this helps save someone some time, some money. And if y'all enjoyed this video, like and comment, subscribe. And if you need to see any other repairs in the future or have any questions, leave me a comment down below, and have a great day.